One of the things that I think about often is the quote from Anne Frank, and we know, of course, who Anne Frank was, but one of the things that she said was, "No one ever became poor by giving to others." And we know that we harness the collective generosity of the entire Rochester area communities, and what a difference that makes in terms of what happens in each of these communities, and what, again, happens through the grants that we are able to fund with the dollars that you have given us and the investment earnings on the dollars that you have given us. That is absolutely priceless. The nice thing about the Rochester Area Foundation is you don't give to the Rochester Area Foundation, you give through the Rochester Area Foundation. The community endowment that we have is called the Better Communities Fund, and the purpose behind that obviously is, as the name implies, it is to make our community a better place to be. Endowments are the opportunity that the principal of the endowment stays there. We then take and invest that wisely, of course, and then the amount that the investment earnings are actually what becomes distributed to the charitable organizations throughout the community in order to make the community a better place.
We recently donated $10,000 to the Rochester Foundation because the Lasker family truly believes in donating to the community so that it benefits future generations. And currently, Liz and Nicole Lasker are the third generation owners of Lasker Jewelers, so it's really important to them that they give back to the community. We like that they manage the fund and that they utilize the money to go into the community through several different programs, and so it just made sense.
As our community grows, the needs in the community grow right along with it, and the endowment, as it grows, is continuing into perpetuity to provide for those community needs.
Exercise Abilities was built from my experience when I was working on rehab at Mayo Clinic. My patients used to come to me and ask that they wanted more. They weren't ever ready to be done with therapy. I really felt like there needed to be a place like this where people could come and maybe get continuing therapy that wasn't offered in the hospital setting, but also work with exercise specialists, people that were trained, work with equipment that's accessible, have group classes with like people, and just be able to continue their journey of recovery. The grant is for a fairly new piece of equipment on the market called a med bike. And it is an exercise bike that's designed specifically for movement disorders or Parkinson's disease. It's based on research, and it's now on the market to be purchased and used in facilities like ours. So with that grant from the Rochester Area Foundation, we will have a bike on our property, in our facility, that people can use and access for free as part of when they come and participate in our Parkinson's program. Thank you. Your support means amazing things. Our patients are primarily on disability. They have medical assistance and Medicare. The reimbursement that we get for our services is very minimal, and it's expensive to run this operation. We have highly trained staff, and the equipment is pretty expensive to purchase as well as maintain. Grants are essential for us to be able to provide our services at a cost point that people can afford it.
Project Get Outdoors is a very small nonprofit focused on working with organizations, community groups, preferably targeting low-income and underserved communities. We serve all kids, but we really try to find the kids that don't have access to the outdoors. And so we provide training and resources to the community groups to help get kids outdoors. The average child today spends about 10 minutes outside, if that. They spend about 8 to 10 hours a day in front of an electronic screen. So that's computer, TV, iPod, iPad, cell phone, video games. It's pretty scary. Well, my background is an environmental educator, so I'm really excited to see kids grow up to care about the environment so that they want to protect it as they grow older. And we're going to have a crisis on our hands in a few years if we don't get kids excited about the outdoors. But also it's important for their health. So physical, mental, spiritual health is all connected to nature and getting outdoors as well. So we got a small grant to put together 50 backpacks. We've designed an activity backpack that's got a bunch of resources and supplies in there to help engage adult leaders with the youth outdoors. So it just makes it easier to get kids outside. And so we're going to put together 50 backpacks and take that to early childhood family education programs in school districts across the region. And we'll be doing parent education classes. So we have an opportunity to talk one-on-one with parents and then provide backpacks at these sites that parents can check out and take home with their kids. And then the backpacks will also be accessible for those preschool teachers to use in those school districts. Huge thank you. We couldn't do this without them, and we're going to be able to serve thousands of children and several dozen youth organizations in our area, and we wouldn't be able to reach these children without their help. So thank you very much.
The Children's Museum has been in this location since April of 2012. That's when we opened here in Rochester. We are in a partnership with the Children's Museum in St. Paul. Through that partnership, we've been able to bring in some bigger name exhibits through that partnership, and then also use some programming from that as well. We want to give children an opportunity to play, and with that, learn. Hands-on experiential learning is important to us, and starting from birth so that kids can learn hands-on activities very early on. Rochester Area Foundation has supported our Play Possible program. The Play Possible program gives access to families with special needs. We've gone through 3 different phases of that, each intending to make it so that families feel comfortable coming to the museum. Through the Play Possible grant, we were able to get some adaptive equipment. We were able to get some adaptive art supplies, weighted blankets, some Bilbo chairs, some books specifically related to special needs children so that it was more welcoming environment. And we were able to provide some field trip opportunities to specially invite in some special need classrooms to make them feel comfortable here. And I think the environment of Rochester is such that it's a very welcoming towards any medical need, and I think that makes us unique. When I looked at starting a program like this, I looked at children's museums like Boston and Chicago, things like that. And otherwise, a museum of our size in a city of our size wouldn't offer programming like that. So it's very unique, and it speaks to the welcomingness of the Rochester community in general.
Gifts of any size are absolutely necessary, whether it's $5 or $500,000 or whatever it may be. $5 today can earn many more dollars into the future because the endowment is there into perpetuity. My challenge to you is this: consider growing your legacy by giving to the Better Communities Fund. Your gifts will grow and nourish the future for all of those who will follow us.